Okay, so what are we looking at here? This is the Neijing 2, which is the inner weaving. This is the warp and the weft, right? This is the weaving of the fabric of the hologram of life. Here's the human body that we've just been to, and you can see how similar they are. We've already described the energy centers. We'll go again. Here's the head, which is the upper cauldron, the upper dantian. Here's the upper torso. Here's the lower torso. In this diagram, there's no feet. Like the Irish map, obviously we've got County Kerry happening down there, which is the feet, but we do have the tailbone here. And what we can see in the imagery, I'll go through it very quickly so you can better understand. So starting with the head, you can see here there's the open mouth. And if you've seen the map of Ireland, you'll see that it also has the open mouth. Very interesting. So in this upper part of the head, we've got these rocks. There's 9 peaks. This would be in Ireland the Giant's Causeway, right? And in here, we've got a little pyramid with the capstone off, and this is called Niwan Palace or Navarna. And down here, we've got a red sun, which would be right around the occiput. Over here, we've got a yellow moon, which is in this region here. We've got the Bodhisattva, the realized Buddha, sat there in lotus, and he's got a white beard, sometimes called Lao Tzu, and his beard and his moustache are hanging down to earth. Up here we've got the heaven. So we've got the 1, 2, 3 points of the Chintamani stone. And up here we've got a whole bunch of water, and we've got a big lake. So that's the Loch Ness. And we've got this red ribbon, which weaves its way all the way down to this maiden. She's the one weaving the red ribbon of Judah from the Bible. It came out with the ribbon around his wrist, the firstborn. She tied it around. And so here's the mountains. Underneath this water system, the ventricular system, we've got caves. So that's like the caves of Kesh, all that region of Ireland. And then we've got the open mouth. And this, I haven't drawn it in because my chalk is not too sharp. This is rainbows. There's 5 colors here, meaning the 5 elements. This is the rainbow bridge of the Yggdrasil tree of life, the Nordic tree of life. The bridge back to, is it Asgard? I forgot the heaven. And then here we can see a little spring of water coming out of the rock that Moses tapped to feed his thirsty followers. And here we've got a pool of water that's being filled up, and it's split in the middle because Moses parted the Red Sea. And why do I keep saying Moses? Is because this little guy here, he's called the foreign blue-eyed monk, and he's in the region of Libra. Virgo's down here in Sligo, Leo's down here in Galway. Up in Libra, we've got the archetype of Hercules, which relates back to Moses and Jesus in terms of their birth circumstances, because they were deemed to be growing up as important people. So Herod or whoever was in charge, Zeus, depending on the mythology, wanted to hunt them down as babies, but they survived. And so that's the archetype there. So Moses, the mouth and the gnosis, he's in the position of the gnosis, the Moses, the position of the 10 Commandments, the Word of God. So many archetypes on that one that I'm going to save for, the classes and whatnot. But that's the position of the mouth. And then we've got the neck here, the neck, back of the neck. Here's the 12-storied pagoda, which is the trachea. And then coming down from there, we've got this, which we're going to focus on, which is a little boy standing on a Milky Way spiral galaxy surrounded by wafts of air because he's in the lungs. And he's holding what? Constellation. What's the constellation? Well, it looks like either the Big Dipper or the Little Dipper. It's actually hard to say because in different Neijing to inner weaving depictions, sometimes the handle's going up and sometimes it's going down. So it could be that they're suggesting that it's both. Code. We'll get back to him. Opposite him is this gate at the position of Shen Dao or T5, or over there, Newgrange, North and South, Bru Naboyne Valley, the Valley of the White Cow. What's his name? Cowherd Boy. What's he holding? Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, the bear, constellation that points to the North Star. That means if he's holding that, he is the constellation of Boots, because Boots pushes the plough around the sky. Coming down, we've got the maiden at the wheel, and she's weaving this red ribbon. How it all relates back to Ireland, that's not for this video, but there's many connections. She's in this forest of trees. That indicates, and that's also the shape of the liver. So that's the digestive organs of the body. Opposite a giant big fire, which is the kidneys. And then coming down to these 4 Tai Chi symbols, which is like the reproductive energy and cell division, the cosmic egg, nearby Loch Gur in Ireland, which means cosmic hatchery, where you produce your reproductive cells from. And then down here we've got a man ploughing an ox in the region of the intestines. It's where you separate the usable foods from the unusable foods. There's another fire here, and then we've got this boy and girl and all of this water, and they're pushing the water through this big gate. And that gate is basically the tailbone. And this is the pathway of the cerebral spinal fluid, which we circulate through that pathway for the sacred secretion. Okay? Overview. I'm going to go way more into this in depth in my online school classes, which will be starting up real soon. I want to focus back on the cowherd boy and the bear constellation, the Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, and how it relates to St. Bridget and the land of milk and honey, because that's the whole point of this, right? We're trying to figure it out. The land of milk and honey, one secretes milky substance, one secretes honey-like substance, and it's like, well, no, it's not. It's not, because you can't see hormones. So what is it? What does it mean? So this region here, he's standing on a spiral that's said to be the Milky Way galaxy in this Neijing 2 interpretation, holding the Big Dipper or the Little Dipper, which points us to the North Star, which Anders Cowlands has put over in Ireland as this region here of Newgrange, which would point to the Tai Chi pole or the spine, the axis, right? It all makes sense. How does it relate to St. Bridget? Well, St. Bridget is the patron saint of milkmaids and butter, a milky substance and a honey-like substance, yellow and white. Because what happens when you churn or spiral or vortex milk? It turns yellow, alchemy, and it turns into butter. I've made it on a farm. It's quite difficult. And what is that suggesting? It's suggesting this movement of the heavens, this vortexing, the heart vortexing. Everything's always vortexing in the body. Nature doesn't do straight lines. And what can we see in these diagrams here? Here is the Big Dipper on the 4 seasons, the north, south, east, west, or the 4 agricultural seasons of summer, autumn, winter, and spring, right? And as the Big Dipper moves around the night sky over the course of a year, it's going to be following this positions. So when we join it all together, that's the pole star in the middle. So it's going around and around the pole star. And when we join it all together, we've got, what have we got? We've got a swastika, we've got a St. Bridget's cross, which is really just showing us a depiction of the heavens above. So Big Dipper pointing to the pole star, which is the handle of the Little Dipper, which is the closest star to the North Celestial Pole, which we're trying to align ourselves with when we're doing this microcosmic orbit to harmonize ourselves with the macro. And so we can see here there's a swastika, there's a cross, this is a spiral going from the inside to the outside, centrifugal motion, and the opposite of that is centripetal motion. So there's all these different motions that are happening. And then this is the Milky Way shape. And so we can see it's all about this as above, so below. One thing transforms into another, and that's what alchemy is all about. That's what alchemy means. Cycles of transformation, and how we can observe the different types of cycles is what we do in Chinese medicine, and we categorize those, which we're going to learn about in future videos, to really break it down to the nitty-gritty. So, to summarize it all, the cow herd boy, the constellation of boots, is pushing the Big Dipper, which we use to locate the pole star, which is really showing us all of these regions in the Irish map on those megalithic stones, showing the Ursa Major, the Ursa Minor, boots, and how it all relates to the Brunaboyne Valley, the Valley of the White Cow. Cow herd boy, white cow, plough, boots. And patron saint, St. Bridget, patron saint of milk and butter, milk and honey. The white cow, he's a white cow herd boy. She's, the Newgrange is the Valley of the White Cow. Milk is white. And then honey is yellow. Interestingly, at Tara, we have the banqueting hall, which is also called the Mead Circling Hall. And I've written about this in my third book, but it's really talking about when the sun comes into position at high noon, it is perfectly aligned with the Mead banqueting hall, the Mead circling hall. What is the yellow circle? It's the sun. And so it's all about the sun, the ray of light, Lugh, the arm, is it the arm or the sword, the spear of Lugh, and he's penetrating into the Earth Mother Tara for the alchemical wedding, part of that. So that's the honey coming into Tara, which is all about cows. There's heaps of wells of cows, so that's the honey and the milk coming together in the site of Tara, which is the site of the heart. Then, and this is where we'll finish up with this, thinking about anatomy and physiology, the land of milk and honey, what's that all about? Well, it's quite easy. Hormones, let's get back to that. What's a hormone? It's a chemical messenger that travels through the blood. So blood's red, well, not all of it. When you spin the blood, it separates out, right? And then you've got the plasma part. 55% of the blood is actually plasma. What color is plasma? Yellow. And where do hormones go in the blood? They actually go through the plasma. We've got the yellow part, we've got the red part, and then we've got the white blood cells part. You know, land of milk and honey happening there. And then on the other side of it, the cerebral spinal fluid that we're flowing, that's saline solution. That's like deep sea water. And a friend of mine makes a product from deep sea water that basically gets vortexed. So a clear liquid through vortexing turns into milk. I've got some, didn't bring it for the video, but it's literally, it's milk. And when I first drank that, I was like, you're making Cleopatra's milk, aren't you? It's not like Ormus. He would say that if we compared it to Ormus, yeah, it's like disgrace for him to say that. But basically, thinking about it, you've got the blood. Here's that red ribbon. Here's the maiden making blood in the digestive system that we'll get into in future videos about all of that. There's the blood carrying the hormones inside the yellow plasma. And then there's the cerebral spinal fluid that if you vortex it enough, it will turn into white milk. This is the essence, the cerebral spinal fluid, the bone marrow, the brain, the inner more dense yin substances of the body. That's your essence. That's your reproductive energy. That is your essence. And then the blood is carrying your spirit, which lives in your heart, in your cow. And what else have I got on there? Yeah, that's it. The white blood cells, white, the red blood cells, red. The red part is basically the blood with hemoglobin in it to help carry the oxygen around, which is the chi. So that's the three parts of Isa. Again, always coming back to that. And Irish, which is the seed, which I've likened to the chi, because what does a seed need to grow? Food, air, sunshine, and water. That's resources of chi or energy or vital life force. And then we've got the essence, the reproductive fluids, the blueprint of life, and the ability to reproduce. And then we've got the spirit, which is the eternal consciousness that lives in your heart. Therefore, it also lives in all of your blood. So I hope you enjoyed that. This is what I'll be doing in my online school, but I'll be starting at the very, very basic level. This is more advanced. I just have so much fun. I can't contain myself with it. Sometimes I just need to have a little blast like this. And the online school is basically, we're going to be incorporating these three charts, but also including the zodiac and the tree of life as five main tools, and learning all about the inner alchemy from the ground up, including where are my organs, what is the anatomy, what is the structures, what is the functions, where are the dantians, where are the cauldrons, what is internal alchemy, what is all this bliss energy that she's talking about. And I'm just going to weave it all together. So if you're interested in that, just join my Telegram group or keep watching this channel, subscribe, because I will put up some notifications of each class. It's going to happen once a week, pay-per-view video, and then we'll come together at the end of the week, whoever's interested, to have like a Zoom video call, and we can just talk about what was in the class and questions and answers and comments and that kind of thing. So I want to make it more interactive. So yeah, I think that's it for now. So I hope you've enjoyed that video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye for now.